I invented my inner balance because I needed it. I mean, it's like it was always a solution for me to begin with.
Yeah.
So after I delivered he's now 9, but after I delivered my son, like I never recovered really. And I mean, I
Wow.
probably recovered, but I never felt, I didn't feel like I should have. Like I wanted to feel great. I was in my mid 30s and I deserve to feel great. I want to like be vibrant. And I already had done all the eliminating of everything I had. Everything's
Wow.
clean, right? My diet's clean. And there was no reason why I shouldn't feel my best. And I wanted it. This is something that I deserved. And so when I realized that everything on the market, that there had been no innovation, I had not learned about it in medical school, nothing for a 35-year-old. I mean, there's nothing, right? So
Yeah.
the patches and the pills and the low dose vaginal creams, they're really meant for that era where we feared hormones. They're micro doses. The patches are tiny micro doses for women potentially over the age of 60 to stop hot flashes, or over the age of
Wow.
55 to stop hot flashes. For a 40-year-old, it's like a drop in the ocean, if that makes sense. Right? So
Gosh.
like women really need, I mean, I realized that some of the first presenting symptoms that I see in women are anxiety, depression, irritability, insomnia. They start to hate their partner. They start to like not tolerate their children. No, I mean it's just they realize that they're off, that they don't are not like the happy, vibrant person that they were used to be. And I think that's one. And it's not about it can be later if you let it go for longer. It can be about weight gain, hair loss, skin, if you don't address it. But like those first symptoms can be as easy as like this depression, anxiety, or not having that zest for life anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like just because of my profession, working in wellness, working in nutrition, well, I'm not going to go through that. I shouldn't have to go through that. I'm doing so many things. And for my mom was born in 1945. And when she went through menopause, she's like, oh, it's like I sneezed. Like she was so lucky she didn't experience any of that. I'm sure there's some emotional stuff that she's not sharing, but like the hot flashes weren't there. She didn't notice any massive shifts to her sleep or anything like that. But for me now, I've shared so many times on this podcast. A couple years ago, I had mold exposure. And that was like the onset of everything. So after having my kids, I was so lucky to have great pregnancies. I feel like my body literally healed itself.
From the hormones,
For
maybe.
maybe, yeah. For the first time in my life, I actually had a regular cycle after my daughter was born. It was amazing. And then I got mold. And after the mold was a long recovery. Plus, I have terrible detox pathways, then onset stress. And then it was just like cyclical. And for me, I would say the first symptom was definitely an increase in irritability. And then my sleep score. My sleep score started to decline drastically. And my point of entry, and we were talking about this before we started the show, doctors put me on testosterone as the first hormone. And I thought, well, great, my hair's falling out. I have no libido. I've got low energy. My sleep is shitty. I want more energy at the gym. I want to put on more muscle mass for longevity because that's what we're talking about now. Great, let's go on testosterone. And sure enough, the dose was too high. I felt for a glimpse what it was like to be a man for a second. My husband Craig was really happy for a few
Yep. Yeah, it can like
weeks.
be pretty dramatic. Yep.
It was dramatic, like surge of energy, but completely unnatural to a woman's physiology. And a lot of my symptoms didn't go away. In fact, I found myself going from 0 to 100. So 0 being calm and then 100 to rage
Yep.
at the smallest
Yep.
things. And I'm trying to explain it to doctors. The doctor that put me on, it's like, oh, just give it some time or we'll lower your dose. No recommendation of doing a Dutch test. No recommendation of understanding my gut. No recommendation of progesterone or estrogen first. So talk to me about what you're seeing today, because testosterone for women right now is all the hype, and we're not looking at the symphony of what it takes for women to get into balance.
You're absolutely right. And I think that we're not just tiny men.
Yeah.
You can't just give us 1/10 of the dose of testosterone and expect us to get better. We're practically a different species than men. And so this idea, when we look at what the relative concentrations are of the hormones, if we put everything in the same units, for example, on lab tests, then the part of the confusion is the way labs are reported. Progesterone is actually magnitudes larger in its amount. It's just that it's so much more that they change the unit so that when you read the report, it says 2. That's actually
Wow.
2,000.
No way.
if you were to put it in picograms per milliliter, which is what estrogen's measured in. So like, for example, in pregnancy, you felt better. Pregnancy, progesterone gets up to 300,000 picograms per milliliter for progesterone. Estrogen gets up to 40,000 picograms per milliliter.
Wow.
Women need a lot of hormone to, they can tolerate it, right? It's literally what helps them be pregnant and birth. But testosterone's the third most abundant. So if progesterone in an ovulating, healthy 25-year-old is around 20,000 picograms per milliliter, testosterone is 60 times lower. It's around, 400. And estrogen's around 1800, right? So that gives you like an idea. So these ratio, like not only do they have to be in the right amount, but the right ratios. And if you give a woman testosterone and her only testosterone, at first she is going to feel like a surge of energy and probably a surge of libido and be like, wow, is this what it's like to be a man? Because they definitely think about sex all the time. But over time, you're not addressing these other so there's no receptors in the limbic system for testosterone, for example. So you're really not getting at the root of her sex drive, which sex drive is more complicated in women. It needs to be linked to vaginal dryness, for example, and you can only address that with estrogen. The vaginal microbiome, if you give her only testosterone, we found in the transgender population that their vaginal microbiome gets completely disrupted.
Can you talk about that for a second?
Yes.
Hover there. Okay.
Yes.
The microbiome. Okay.
So that Lactobacillus acidophilus is the primary bug or organism that's there. Like when we talk about, microbiomes, like in the gut, we want diversity. In the vagina, we do not. We want like one or two strains because those organisms maintain the proper pH. Like this is really important for women as we age. Like it helps prevent infections, and it's not just yeast infections. It is like HPV, bacterial vaginosis, any type of infection. It also prevents urinary tract infections as well as yeast, and then urinary incontinence. So like pelvic floor maintenance, like able to go to the bathroom without having pain. Like this is really important as we age. And so Lactobacillus acidophilus needs estrogen in order to make its food. So if you have only testosterone, or you give somebody like a testosterone vaginal cream, which is really popular for libido, you are completely disrupting her microbiome and introducing a possibility for bacterial vaginosis or something else for her. And you have to maintain, this is really, this infection is important right here. This is like a health concern. Doctors should be like, this is really important for quality of life for women. And also lowering health. We can talk about healthcare costs and all this stuff. Like we need to not have infections.
This is the kind of information that I want to be hearing. So right now, there is so much doom and gloom around aging, around becoming 40, moving into perimenopause, moving into menopause and beyond. It's doom and gloom. Watch out. Just wait for it. It's coming for you.
We're
it's going to
holding it
happen.
together.
Yeah. Instead of like, here's the details of what things should look like, and understanding the body's physiology, and the education for women to really understand and take ownership of their physiology.
You're in complete control. Like if this mood change and all of this doom and gloom is a choice now. You actually don't have to do, menopause is optional. All of these symptoms are optional. When you're younger, endometriosis and PCOS are optional. You can make these lifestyle changes that year, or if that doesn't work, there are, you can replace progesterone and estrogen and feel better.